Hey everyone, Graham here from the recordingrevolution.com, and today I want to show you kind of how I like to work with vocal delays in my mixes. I'm mixing in the box. I'm using digital delays, of course, and I like to have the most soft, analog-y, old-school sounding delays on my vocals because I feel like they sit better in the mix, and there's just something about a nice round, echoey delay that's not too in your face. You get some depth. You get a sense of space and mood and vibe, but it's not piercing and it's not trying to vie for the attention and fight the lead vocal. And so one way I like to do that is through the use of lo-fi plugins after my delays. And so I want to show you how I do it all the time. I just pulled one of the songs from my recent EP because I did it all over the place here. And because I've got my vocal going through two very different delays, and I'm doing the same trick on both delays. So here is the end of a song. You know, there's a lot going on, but for a second, pay attention to the lead vocal up the middle, which is kind of buried a bit, just singing some O's and some vocal vamping, and just get a feel for the mood and the vibe, and then we'll solo it out, and I'll show you what I'm doing here. Alright, lot happening, but in the context, because that's the most important thing, that lead vocal that's kind of doing the payment for the rest, or just doing the O's in the background, right up the middle in the stereo spectrum, that vocal is supposed to be somewhat featured, but never take over, and it's supposed to set a mood, and it's supposed to be this wide open space of a part of a song. And so the delay has to fit that, and the delay can't fight it. Here's the vocal by itself going through the delays.
Payment for the rest. One life, one life. Oh, one payment. Oh,
Okay, you hear that very muffled delay. Okay, this isn't anything earth-shattering, but let me show you what's going on here, because by default with my plugins, I can't quite get that sound. And there are some delay plugins out there that kind of have this built in, and if you don't have those, if you're just using stock digital delays, then this can help. Okay, so I've got a lead vocal here, and without any delays, this is what it sounds like. Right, it's already EQ'd a little bit here, telephone effect at the end of the song, so it's thinned out. But I don't even want the delay to be that bright. So I've got two delays. I have one, the most important one I think, which is a mono delay, and it's a screen track here. And by default, I've got it going through a mod delay plugin in Pro Tools, and this is what it sounds like. Already has somewhat of a muffled echo and delay, but I want it to be even more smooth, right? This has a low pass filter. I've rolled everything below above 2K off, basically. But what I put underneath it, or just below it, is literally a lo-fi plugin. This comes stock in Pro Tools. But you can not only add distortion, saturation, noise, but you can reduce the sample size, the sample rate, which just destroys the signal a little bit. So here's what I've done. Bypass, and then I'll kick it on. Kick it on. Little more muffled, little more less intelligible. It's subtle. Don't get me wrong. I know it's subtle. I got the same thing going on with another delay here, which is actually a stereo delay. So my vocal is feeding a mono delay up the middle, and then a stereo delay that I call a decay. And it's a different delay plugin that I have here in Pro Tools called Dynamic Delay. And here's what that sounds like by itself. Right, it's kind of ping-pongy, slightly stereo. And then I've got a lo-fi plugin on that as well, right below that. I've taken that even further down, right? So before, after, right? Real muffled, right? And you do that without EQ, but you're destroying the sample size and the sample rate, and you're adding some saturation. And a lo-fi plugin is just a really cool way to muddy up the signal. So the original vocal can be as clear as you want, then your delays can be nice and muddy, which means that they won't fight in that upper range, right? For clarity of guitars, clarity of vocals, cymbals, they won't really live up there. They'll just fill up the space that you feel and you notice, but it doesn't smear up what's going on with intelligibility of the vocal. And together they sound really cool. So anyway, that's a huge part of what I'm doing to get my sound in a lot of these songs where I really want the vocal to be spacey and out there. Now this is an extreme example because the vocal's buried, the vocal itself is muffled, then the delays are muffled, and then lo-fi'd on top of that because I really wanted this vocal to sit down inside the mix. But even on a part of a song where there's plenty of intelligibility of the lead vocal, I like to have the delays lo-fi'd to give them a more analog, old school, warm sound as opposed to that crisp, perfect digital delay sound. And it's a great way to turn your stock delay plugins into a much more old school analog delay plugin sound. Hope that helps. Hope that gives you some ideas to play around with on your next mix. Thanks for tuning in. Again, this is Graham from therecordingrevolution.com. Hey, if you like the video, subscribe and leave me a comment below. I'll see you on another video soon. Take care.